we didn't know, and his facial expression gives nothing away, but he's been right on the limit, and he's had to let go now. And he's got to manage himself through these next 10 kilometers. It's going to be very, very tough. In fact, 11 kilometers he's got to go. How is he going to manage himself? Having hit the red line and gone through it, in effect, he's now going to be back on his heels, and it'll be very, very tough for him to maintain a solid tempo, stay in second, and keep ahead of that chasing pack.
And that chasing pack, we'll keep an eye on them, because they then will start to close if he's not careful. At the moment, he's guaranteed second place as things stand, but that gap will get wider and wider ahead of him, but it could get narrower and narrower behind him, approaching 32 kilometers. And there is the trademark smile of Eliud Kipchoge. I think he was stung, and I think he was hurt by some of the criticism after Boston. He had a bad day at the office. He doesn't have many. Just to remind you, he's won 15 of his 18 marathons. That is extraordinary. It's a success rate of 83%, which is, well, without parallel. Nobody else has got that sort of number at all. And were he to go and win today, it would be his 5th success in Berlin, moving ahead of Haile Gebrselassie. And there, just slipping away, 25 seconds outside world record at even pace. Those numbers from last year.
Now, do athletes the caliber of Eliud Kipchoge go through bad patches and then find their legs again and rally? If so, then he's got about half an hour, about 10k of running in which to regain composure, up his tempo, and head back down towards 2:01.
And this is the moment, the trademark little look over the shoulder, first from Kipchoge, then Chepkwony, and he was away. There you go, mate. It's all yours.
Interesting, isn't it, Chris, that around the time Kipchoge broke away and created separation between himself and Kindi, there's the pacemaker Chepkwony. What a fabulous job he has done. Massive pat in the back from him.
Look at the cadence, though. Oh, and Kindi has paid. There it is, Kindi, and we're not surprised. He was redlining for most of the race, and his race is over.
But Chris, he's been on 2:01 tempo for an hour and a half. Surely he had a 2:04, 2:05 in him, and he's just not managed those resources sufficiently.
A little wonderful gesture there, a little fist pump from Kipchoge to the pacemaker to say, well done, mate, you've done a great job. But the news there is Kindi has also dropped out. So the pacemaker and Kindi, the only challenger to Kipchoge, both have finished their races. One has done a brilliant job. The other has surpassed all expectations. And now look at the cadence. It's almost as if a weight has been lifted, Tim, isn't it? Look at the body language. The smile's back on the face. He's lifted his legs. The arms are working harder. And now in the Berlin sunshine, Eliud Kipchoge is now going to set about. I mean, surely he can't wrestle back this world record from here.
I doubt it very much, although maybe there will be a freedom, Chris, psychologically now for Kipchoge on his own. Glorious isolation out in front, and this is where maybe we will see Eliud take his gloves off, so to speak. There's Kindi. He has run a fantastic 3/4 of a race, but unfortunately for him it's 42k, not 32k, and he is gone. Sad sight, but he will be back, and he'll be back with a bang, I'm sure, will Kindi. He's relatively inexperienced in the marathon distance, and he will have learnt so much from today. It'll take him a while to recover from it, but he will bank that experience, and he'll learn so much from Berlin 2023. Kipchoge here, Chris, I do think that he has an opportunity now to just stride on in his inimitable, isolated style and claw back a few seconds. At 31k, he was on 2:01.38 pace, so from somewhere he's got to find 30 seconds over this next 10k to get back to world record.
It's a big ask, isn't it? Not impossible, but it is a big ask.
It's 3 seconds per kilometre. It's doable.
It's doable. But he
says sitting in his chair with a glass of water.
As long as it's only water. Yeah, there's been a definite marked in tempo and cadence here from Eliud Kipchoge. Well, normal service resumed. Marcel Hug a few minutes ago coming over the line to take the wheelchair title. Victory number 8 for the great man, the silver bullet winner. Yet again, Marcel Hug, a brilliant performance. And while a sprint finish in the end in the women's race, Catherine de Bruyne winning for the second year running. She won on debut here last year in a course record, and she's beaten the course record again. What a brilliant performance, and Manuela Scher coming through in third place.
Eliud Kipchoge striding out, and around the time that Kindi dropped out, Kipchoge strode onwards, so the sun came out, and he is producing the usual in Berlin is Eliud Kipchoge. Boeing disaster, Chris, heading for his 5th victory on the streets of Berlin.
It does look as though some tension has been released. He wasn't looking tense before, but I think now that he's out on his own, he's got the streets of Berlin all for himself. It's clear daylight ahead, clear water, if you like. And there's an extra little spring back in the step there. I'm not suggesting for a moment that he was worried about Kindi. He must have thought in his heart of hearts, this guy can't keep this tempo up for the entire race, and so it proved. But there's a determination now on the face of Eliud Kipchoge, who's striding out towards what would be victory number 16 in 19 races. Quite extraordinary.
Well, Tigista Safer has gone through 30k in 1:34.12, a 3:05, that 30th kilometre. She's accelerating. Her last couple of 4 kilometres, listen to this, she's gone 3:09, 3:09, 3:03, 3:05. She's finding extra legs as Eliud Kipchoge, just a little way up the road ahead, is struggling to get back down towards world record. Splits. She is pummeling the world record splits of Bridget Kosgei from 4 years ago. 3:05, 3:06, her last 2 kilometres. In fact, she's gone through 31k now, and the projected time, wait for it folks, 2:12.27. Now, that is a time that until not too to 1:11.48 at 30k. Just double checking that. Yeah, 1:26.25 at 30k. Excuse me. And the chasing pack, a minute and 17 seconds back at 30k.
Approaching 35 kilometres, Tim, and it feels to me like he may well have clawed back something of that deficit on the world record. We'll bring you the split as soon as we can. A reminder, bottom right, 1:40.07 was the split last year through 35 kilometres. He's got about another half a kilometre or just less, about 400 metres.
I don't think he is doing any clawing, Chris. His last couple of kilometres have both been 2:57s. World record tempo is 2-hour tempo is 250. 2:01 pace is 252, and he's operating some 5 or 6 seconds outside that per kilometre at the moment. So he's losing ground on his own world record at 34k. His projected winning time is 2:01.51. Remember, his world record from last year that you called so well is 2:01.09. So he's over 40 seconds outside his world record tempo at the moment, and he's got 8k in which to claw it back. It's becoming an insurmountable task.
Here is the Gedächtniskirche, the Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial Church, built in 1895, much destroyed during the Second World War, but what has remained has become and remains an important monument in Berlin.
The crowd's loving this familiar scenes, a sense of deja vu to some degree, Chris, as he heads along in that white vest with his sponsors on the top, and the red shorts the same as last year. The bouncing stride of Kipchoge, 35k, 1:41.10.
Yeah, so just over a minute outside the world record of last year. In fact, 63 seconds outside, so he is slipping away. It was 45 seconds 5 kilometres ago. That's just grown now by about 18 seconds. So you're absolutely right, Tim. There's no clawing back. Indeed, he's slipping away further, which then turns our attention to the chasing pack. How far behind are they, and have they got any chance at all of reeling this man in and denying him a 5th victory here in Berlin?
It would be extraordinary if they could.
So let's just look back on the men's race so far. These are the main stories in the men's and women's race, and a safer, Tim, is the story of the women's race so far.
Well, it is, Chris, because she's got about half an hour of running to do, and she's on world record schedule. She went through halfway in 66.21, way inside world record schedule. The pacemakers done an incredible job in the men's race today. Kipchoge, the main beneficiary.
Yeah, at 31 kilometres, he lost the only other athlete who was in company. And are the chasing pack starting to gain ground, allowing for the foreshortening? This would be a real shock. Let's keep an eye on the gap between Kipchoge and the rest of the field. He's still got around 18 or 19 minutes.
47 seconds the gap is down to now at 35k, 1:41.10 for Kipchoge. And Kipruto chasing 1:41.57.
So 47 seconds the gap. Kipchoge looks to have slowed here. Remember, only once before has he not won in Berlin. That was on debut in 2013.